get set up here. Hold on. All right, y'all. What's going on? Let me get caught up here. I'm a little bit behind schedule, but you know, I apologize for that. Sometimes you run into some bugs, some issues and whatnot, but we get it sorted out. Folks, put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me clearly. Just make sure we're all good on that point, on that front. Still wait for some folks to jump in on here. All right, there we go. All right, y'all. I see y'all here in the chat. There we go. Welcome, folks. Welcome to the Monday Night Live stream. For those of you who are new to the channel, I am Remsen Noir, high raw vegan nutritionist and fitness coach. And it's going to be another banger tonight. All right, so basically we're gonna get real. We're gonna talk about stress management. We're gonna get a little bit more nuanced about the question posed: why is it that you can eat clean, right, cut your calories, and work out consistently, and still not really see any progress? So we're going to get into that, right? Because we're going to talk about the biggest hindrance that we're facing in our health goals. And it's a thing that gets largely overlooked, right? And this ties into our culture, especially here in the US. It might be different in other places of the world, but I can only speak from where I'm from, which is the United States, right? So we're going to get real and talk about how to deal with these issues. I just found your channel this last week, and I absolutely love it. I appreciate that. You best believe I'm going to book some sessions. All right, got you. Well, you know, looking forward to talking to you. I did a juice fast today, and I'm working out now. It was really difficult from 12 to 6 p.m. But now I'm working out, and I feel like a beast. There we go. All right, there we go. Let me give a shout out to some of y'all here. Smart Girl Chronicles, what's going on? Good to see you in here. Annie, welcome. Welcome back to the stream. Good to see you in here. Akeen Cast, what's going on? Good to see you in here. Drew, Crystal, Miss Judith, what's going on, y'all? Good to see you in here. All right. Folks, definitely sound off where you're tuning in from, right? City, state, country, province. Right, sound off where you tuning in from. Put a W in the chat if you're specifically excited to talk about this topic. I'm curious to see. Minneapolis, Minnesota. There we go. Florida. Big shout out to you tuning in from Florida. Can I talk about parasite cleanse? I'm actually going to talk about cleanses tonight a little bit. I'm going to touch on that. Atlanta, Maryland, Baltimore. What's going on, y'all? Good to see you. Alabama. Big shout out to the Bama. Ohio. New Jersey. The Boogie Down Bronx. I got my chlorophyll water here. All right. Greensboro, North Carolina. What's going on? There you go. Right. So let's get into it. I'm not going to hold y'all up too much. I kind of wait because I don't want people to come in late and then miss the beginning, the opening of the messages here. But for the sake of time, we're going to get into it. Pacific Northwest. All right, Chicago. All right. So there is a very strong correlation between stress and body fat retention and muscle loss. And bone loss, actually. osteoporosis, various forms of arthritis, muscle loss, right? Extreme levels of muscle loss as well, especially in particular when you get older, right? Sarcopenia, autoimmune disorders, the works. And sometimes eating clean, people say eating clean, and eating clean is good, but it's not really enough, right? And cutting calories can actually sometimes, or a lot of times, be the opposite of what you should be doing. I talk about this a lot, right? I kind of rail against calorie deficits or calorie deficits or calorie cutting, right? I more or less reject the premise of calories in, calories out. I don't think that that's a real thing in the way that people do, right? And the reason why is because most people who are extremely overweight already undereat and don't eat enough mathematically to be able to retain their weight. Now, this is going to touch on people who are not just very overweight, but people who don't necessarily have a weight problem, but they're skinny fat, right? Where you're not necessarily overweight, but you're under muscled. You don't really have much muscle mass on you. And this is like the whole skinny fat thing. Belly fat, skinny arms and legs, right? And a lot of the times, people who are skinny fat have poor posture, right? So you got this right here going with the shoulders elevated, with the neck forward, right? With the neck forward and all of that, the back rounded out, tight hamstrings and tight hip flexors and all that kind of stuff. Poor mobility, right? That's the skinny fat. That's right, y'all. Smash the like button. Very true. Definitely hit that like button. Now, stress, the way that your body responds to stress is to increase energy efficiency in order to combat the stress that you're engaging with, that you're dealing with, right? So we got to get into the economic workings, the economic principles of the human metabolism. When stress is high, stress is a threat to the human body, and the human body requires a lot of energy to combat stress, right? Now, let me make sure my music ain't blasting a little bit too much here. I want it to be a vibe, but not too much. So, dealing with stress is very energy intensive. It's exhausting dealing with stress. All right. Here's a great example of that. If you track your blood sugar, right? If you're really stressed out or you're in actual pain from an injury or something that's hurting, this will drive up your blood sugar, right? If you have a glucose monitor and you're feeling pain, check your blood sugar either in the morning or at night, and you can tell a difference between where your blood sugar is when you're not in pain versus where your blood sugar is when you're in pain. The more stress you're under, the higher your blood sugar will be. Insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes is largely driven by stress, right? It's very important to understand that because people think it's about food, but it's not about food in the way that you think. Food, or toxic foods, poor food choices, increase your stress level. It's food poisoning, essentially, right? So if you consistently eat out at Chick-fil-A and greasy pizzas and things like that, and oily foods and deep fried this and that, these are stressors, and your body responds by cranking up your blood sugar. Now, you have a stress hormone called cortisol, and your body will release this cortisol, and this cortisol will break down fat and convert that into glucose, and that raises your blood sugar. But also, your body will break down protein and even muscle tissue and convert that into glucose, right? Ladies, there is a thing. What's that thing called when you have like a fatty mass right on the back of the neck? What's it called? A hump? Is a specific name for it. What's it called? If y'all know what I'm talking about. It's a something hump. And it's like right on the back of the neck. It's like a fatty, kind of cushiony part on the back of the neck, right in this area. And that is one of the hallmark signs of chronically elevated cortisol and stress. Now, what will happen is over time with this constant chronically elevated stress, you'll lose muscle mass. You'll lose bone mass, right? You'll go through this degeneration, specifically of muscle mass, because muscle mass is very expensive. So your body has to burn more energy and burn through more glucose just to maintain the muscle mass. So when you're under a lot of stress, your body is going to be geared towards preserving fat mass to have that extra energy to tap into and get rid of muscle mass in order to preserve energy. Right? And so these is one of the things that contributes to an increase in fat retention and muscle loss. There's two things that primarily happen in this point, right? When you're dealing with this stress, and it's stress over years. It's not like you had a bad week or something. This is a thing that's been going on for months and years and even decades, right? So it takes a while to get into this position. And it's largely a hormonal imbalance. But if your body is constantly battling against stress and expending all of this energy in order to defend against stress, you will do two things. You will emotionally eat, and you will store more fat inside your body for energy. And one of the mechanisms to get your body to store more fat for energy is to reduce leptin, which is the hormone that makes you feel full. And it will kick up ghrelin, which is the hormone that makes you feel hungry. That's number one. Number two, your body will become more insulin resistant. Right? Insulin resistance will allow you to store more fat for energy. So this cuts off the amount of glucose that goes to your lean tissue cells, which kind of starves those lean tissue cells and then packs more fat into your fat cells. And then gets you to have this appetite where you keep eating and eating and eating and eating in order to store more fat. Now, for some of us, that ghrelin will turn off and the leptin will kick on, and you won't really have much of an appetite at all. Usually when this happens, you are now dopamine resistant, and you have low levels of serotonin and poor sleep quality. Right? So this is where you'll be that person where you'll eat once, maybe twice a day. Right? Like you'll eat breakfast or eat your first meal probably like around 11 or 12. You skip breakfast. And then you eat your last meal really late at night. So you'll eat like one or two meals. If you eat two meals, those meals will be very far apart because you don't really have much of an appetite. But this usually happens when you're extremely overweight already. Once you've gained like an additional 50, 70, 75, 100 pounds or so, that appetite shuts off. Right? Now, I referred to dopamine resistance. Dopamine is the hormone that... Dopamine is the reward hormone. Dopamine allows you to feel an accomplishment or feel the emotional or mental effects of a reward. It allows you to feel satisfied from achieving a particular thing or engaging in a particular thing. Right? So like, let's say, for example, if you ran a marathon, crossing the finish line causes your body to release that dopamine so that you can feel the feeling of accomplishment from passing the finish line. When you're dopamine resistant, you don't get that feeling. When you're dopamine resistant, you don't even really want to run the marathon at all when you're dopamine resistant, food stops tasting good. It doesn't taste as good as it used to, even your favorite foods. So like, let's say for example, and I like to use Belgian waffles because it's like one of my favorite things of ever. What I used to eat, I don't really eat this much anymore. But these Belgian waffles, it's a waffle, but it's huge. It's this big waffle. It would be like the size of the actual plate. And what I used to do is I would load up this Belgian waffle with syrup, cream, and butter. This is the thing I used to do. I don't do it much anymore because, well, you know, the whole, number one, the way that I eat, and number two, I'm plant-based. But I got to a point where I didn't really like them much anymore when I was dopamine resistant. And I'm like, this should taste a lot better than it tastes. I don't really want to eat this. I'll eat it because it's in front of me and I have the opportunity to eat it. But it's not like, oh, Belgian waffle. It's like, oh, okay, cool, Belgian waffle. It's dopamine resistance, right? Dopamine resistance, also when you're dopamine resistant, your libido collapses. So your sexual drive plummets. All of this is directly correlated to stress, right? Because it's the down regulating of things that require energy, right? If you're dopamine sensitive, you feel more motivated to do things. You feel more motivated to challenge yourself and accomplish things, right? That's what dopamine sensitivity is needed for, right? But the thing is, your body doesn't want to be dopamine sensitive if you're under a lot of stress, because your body doesn't want to produce hormones that is going to make you be more active. So your body will shut off, let's say, testosterone production. And your body will turn on estrogen production. And your body will turn off progesterone production. And your body will dial down insulin sensitivity. So let's talk about progesterone. Why is estrogen increasing and progesterone is decreasing? Because progesterone is a hormone that pretty much preps your body to be able to get pregnant and produce a child. The development of a child is very energy intensive, right? Actually carrying a child is extremely energy intensive. So what happens is your body will actually down regulate the progesterone. You might even lose your menstrual cycle altogether. Because if you're under enough stress that's crushing your hormones, your body will be like, you know, this menstrual cycle stuff, the progesterone, we're done with that. It's too energy intensive, right? For men, you can see a significant decline in testosterone and an increase in estrogen, predominantly because as you gain body fat, your body fat produces more estrogen. Testosterone is a motivator. Testosterone incentivizes fat metabolism. It incentivizes muscle growth. It incentivizes dopamine sensitivity. All these kind of things switch on with testosterone. Testosterone is the powerhouse of the male anatomy, right? So your body will cut that will down-regulate that to reduce your libido so that you're not looking to go and have a baby and all of this type of stuff. Because first of all, sex, very energy intensive. All right. Getting somebody pregnant and then expecting a child, very energy intensive. And your body's like, we don't want to do any of that. Building muscle, working out, lifting heavy weights. No. Exercise, no. Cut all of that off. Right? So there's all of these hormonal changes that happen. Men go through andropause, your body produces or ramps up aromatase, which pretty much converts testosterone into estrogen. All right. So even if your gonads, testes, as a man, you produce the testosterone, you actually hemorrhage testosterone in the aromatization of that testosterone, and you get an increase in estrogen. To the point where your testes are now feeding estrogen level increases. So there's all these different chemical processes that happen, basically. Now, what tends to happen with us is we ignore all that. And we go, yeah, I feel like crap. I'm tired. I'm extremely stressed, but I want to change my body. So even if I don't feel like it, I'm just going to put my head down and I'm going to do the work. I'm going to eat bland, stale food. I'm going to do a really strict diet. I'm going to do an hour and a half of cardio a day. I'm going to lift weights and kill myself in the gym and all of that in order to change my body. I'm going to consciously do these things. I'm going to listen to motivational speeches. Right? And I'm going to power through. And a lot of us, we can do this for a limited amount of time. We can do it, but it comes at a cost. Because what happens when you do all this stuff you don't want to do? You're real strict in your diet, right? Like, let's say you do I'm gonna just do juicing. I'm gonna do a juice fast, right? And I'm gonna do an hour and a half of cardio a day to lose the weight. You can lose weight doing that, a juice fast. And it's very difficult to actually not be able to lose weight while doing a juice fast. The problem is you haven't really fixed the stress issue, so the weight comes right back on as soon as you start eating again. This is like the problem, right? Because if you're insulin resistant, you can't juice, and it's the closest thing you can get to like a magic bullet if you just do a juice fast. The problem is when you start eating again, the weight comes back on because you haven't addressed the stress. So what we have to do is we have to actually, rather than focus on changing our bodies necessarily, we have to deal with the stress first. I want y'all to really listen because this is very deliberate on my end. All right. I'm going to take a moment here. All right. You hear that sound of the water running, and you hear some peaceful, chill, relaxing music. And think about, I just want you to think to yourself what that sound does. Think about how that sound makes you feel. Right? And y'all can put use one word to describe how it makes you feel and put it in the chat. Right? Type out the one word in the chat. All right. So that you can be more aware of what I'm talking about. All right. So somebody put calm, serene, right? Calming, peaceful, relaxed, right? And if y'all notice, when I go on these streams and I do my videos, it's always calming music and the water in the background. Right? Groovy, relaxed. Now, this is sound therapy. Because when people watch my content or they listen to me, I want you to be in a certain state. I want you to be relaxed, calm. I want you to be at peace. I want you to feel these good feelings as you're listening and really taking in this information. Stress ramps us up, takes us all the way up here, right? Stress feels like a tightness in the chest, feels like a tightness in the throat. All of this is tight, congested, even to the point where you swallow, it can feel like a knot. And then that knot feels tight in your chest, right? And then that knot drops into your stomach. It feels like an explosion in your stomach, like this big air balloon in your stomach. It's really uncomfortable. And then you realize, oh, that's gas and bloating. Right? You know, when people talk about having a gut feeling, now you can have the gut feeling that goes up into the chest and then into the neck, and then gives you a headache and then keeps you up all night, or it can start in your head and collapse down into your gut. Right? And so from the pelvis to the neck, right up here. Just chaos. Anxiety, depression, anxiety, depression, anxiety, depression, back and forth. Hot potato, hot potato. When you feel calm or relaxed, that feeling dissipates. Right? Now here's how you compound those results. Miss Juju, what's going on? Good to see you in here tonight. Breathe in through your nose and then out through your mouth. Chances are, if you're very stressed, you're snoring at night, you got sleep apnea, chances are you're breathing through your mouth all the time. Your mouth open all the time. Right? Breathe in through your nose and then out through your mouth. Right? And do this, right? So you do consciously breathe in 1, 2, 3 into your nose and then out through your mouth. And you do that for a few minutes, just repetitiously. Consciously learn to practice breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth, because breathing in through your mouth is not the same as breathing in through your nose. When you breathe in through your nose, there's all of these processes and nervous system changes that happen in your nose. You get these little tiny hairs in your nose, and you got nerves and whatnot in your nose. And when you breathe in through your nose, it regulates your body temperature. It regulates your blood pressure. It regulates the amount of glucose expenditure and oxygen expenditure in the brain, hydration of the lungs. There's all these things that happen when you breathe in through your nose that you don't get when you breathe in through your mouth. Right? So now imagine you did these two things. You had the sound of water, calming music, and throughout the day, you took time out of your day to focus on breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. Just those two things. Just those two daily habits, small habits. I promise you, these things are game changers for your life. Right in the moment when you feel stressed, even if you're in pain, do that. Literally, oxygen intake reduces blood sugar, blood pressure, and pain. If you feel really cold and you breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth, your body will heat up. If you're too hot, if you breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth, your body will cool down. If your blood pressure is too high, breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth will bring your blood pressure down. If your blood pressure is too low and you breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth, it'll raise your blood pressure up. It's this self-regulating thing. So, when we talk about like meditation, Tai Chi, deep breathing exercises, Wim Hof, etc., that is scientifically validated. That's real stuff. It's not like some whimsical gimmick. It's a real thing. All these nerve endings and everything like that in your nose, they signal to your brain, hey, self-regulate. Right? One of the things that I learned to do, especially when talking to people, if you've been watching me long enough, you notice this. I'll speak, complete a thought, stop, pause. Now, when I pause, take a deep breath in through my nose, then out through my mouth, and then deliver my next thought. So this is my way of consciously pacing. I do this by myself when I'm not talking to anybody, and I do this when I'm talking to people. So I learned to self-regulate. There is a very, and I just breathed in through my mouth just now, but And there is a point in time to breathe in through your mouth. That's not like a thing you should never do. There is a point for it, right? When I work out, what I'll do is in between each rep, deep breath in, do the rep, then exhale. Very deliberate about my breathing while doing resistance training and things like this, right? Even just going out for walks, just making the conscious, deliberate attempt to pattern my breathing and to breathe deliberately. We breathe passively, and it's not really enough because most of us don't breathe correctly. We don't. This is why we have things like sleep apnea and stuff in the first place. So when you do that, it slows you down, it reorients your pacing, and you can think clearer. It helps you sleep better at night. So just the breathing. So basically, to reduce stress, you can leverage your senses. What you see, what you hear, what goes in your nose and out your mouth or into your mouth. And you can leverage these senses and these vital organs to reduce your stress in real time. And I have people who can attest to this. My blood sugar was elevated and I stopped and I meditated. I did my deep breathing exercises and my blood sugar came down. Nothing to do with eating. Your diet is important, but it is not the only thing. There's other things that you can deploy because sometimes your diet and time is not enough. Your diet is subordinate to the rate at which your gut can digest a food and pull nutrients from it and send those nutrients to your bloodstream to be transported to your cells. There's a time constraint there. But the deep breathing and the music you hear in your ears, that can change your stress level in real time. Instantly and up to a matter of seconds. The stress thing, you know, we as American citizens, right? We're all about hard work and grind and more is better, right? Work hard in the gym, be super disciplined with diet, do more work, pay more bills, make more money, go, more, right? Especially in the economy that we live in now. And then we're trying to lose weight, and then we do more work, and then we get less fuel. And we have this abusive relationship with food. Now, if stress is very energy intensive and your body needs a lot of energy in order to combat the negative effects of stress, well, guess what happens when you significantly reduce the amount of food you eat? You've now removed this thing that your body uses in order to counteract the negative effects of stress. So now when there's a shortage of food, where does your body get the energy from? It can get it from fat, but it doesn't have to. Because fat is not really thermogenic, but you know it is muscle. Muscle's very expensive and it's very thermogenic. So guess what your body will tap into for energy in order to preserve its fat stores? Your body will tap into fat and tap into muscle for energy. Now, some people say, well, what about fasting? Fasting is like you don't eat at all. This is true. And yes, fasting is stressful. But the difference is a fast is a mechanism to force your body to make a hormonal shift to be in a state of being that is better at dealing with stress. That's the difference. Fasting causes your body to go into a state of being, like ketosis, for example, where your body now fully switches to metabolizing fat primarily for energy and then retaining muscle mass. Because your body does that switch to better deal with the stress of not having food. This is different. This is why I don't tell people, oh, you need to eat less. I'm like, hey, you either eat in abundance or you fast. I'm not really a big fan of advocating an in-between. Either you eat enough, which is usually in abundance, or you don't eat at all, which is a fast. When you're in the middle straddling the fence where you're not really fasting, but you're not really well fed, you're not doing either of those things effectively. So you don't deliberately create the hormonal shift needed. It's the difference. Now, fasting, the stress that a fast causes is very similar to the mechanism of stress that exercise causes. I give you an example. So let's say you go to the gym, you do resistance training. You do a 20 to 30 minute workout, heavy, hard resistance training. Max effort training, but just 20 to 30 minutes. This is acute stress. Now, your body deals with acute stress by reinforcing things like muscle mass, by reinforcing bone mass. Right? So you get, like, for example, you have Muay Thai fighters, right? And what they do is they'll take like a really hard object, like a stone, for example, and they'll roll it up and down their shins every day. And it hurts like hell. But your body responds to that heavy object rolling and being abrasive on the bone. What it does is it reinforces the bone. It makes the bone like stone. It forces the body to make physiological changes to the bone, where it makes the bone so hard that the bone is like it has the same density and hardness as like steel. So you'll see like these people who practice like Muay Thai their whole entire life, and they can kick down trees and they can kick metal pipes and bend the pipe and do all of this type of stuff. That's because they've conditioned the shin bones to be harder than what they're kicking. Right? It's the same thing when you got these guys and they're punching bricks and stones and all of that, and they can literally chop friggin' stones and bricks and all this stuff in half, and they break bricks, punching bricks and all this type of stuff. It's because their bones in their hands are so conditioned to be hardened to the point where they're harder than what they're hitting. That is a result of acute stress being deliberately deployed in order to create a specific human adaptation. Something less extreme would be working out in the gym. You can train a muscle so hard and create a very acute stress response where your body will then build the muscle mass thicker and stronger and more dense than it was previously. And it also increases the efficiency of the neural pathways used to produce that movement. So your body creates new motor neurons, more neural pathways in the brain. It makes your bones stronger. So your bones then become better at handling tensile stress. So your bones actually are better at bending under force. And your bones are more resistant to breaking. Because not only do your bones need to be hard, but they also need to have a certain level of capability to bend. Because if you don't bend, you break. So this is tensile force, being able to deal with tensile force. So the bone becomes hard enough to protect against blunt force trauma as well as tensile trauma. Blunt force loads and tensile loads. There's two different types of pressure that you can apply to bone mass. And the connective tissue also gets reinforced. So you get stronger tendons, stronger ligaments, stronger bones, stronger muscle tissue. You get an enhancement in your nervous system, your brain, more motor neurons, all this type of stuff. Your body responds to the acute stress of an intense workout by building all of this new infrastructure into the human body. But that's acute stress. The type of stress that is causing us to be fat and lose muscle mass and destroy our hormones and everything, it's chronic stress. And it's not just chronic stress. It's non-deliberate stress. It's the type of stress that we don't really deliberately engage in order to create a human adaptation. A lot of the times, this stress isn't really that voluntary, right? This is like life happening to you, like life is being done to you, and you're just in it, taking the blows every day, all week, all month, for years. That's the type of chronic stress that I'm talking about, that is breaking us down, right? So we can leverage things like meditation, deep breathing, sound therapy, aromatherapy into the nose. So let's say you get an essential oil diffuser. Let's say you work from home. A lot of us are doing that these days. You work from home. You got a nice big old desk that you're sitting at. Get some house plants, and you have plants around you at work. You have an aromatherapy essential oil diffuser on your desk. And you have an audio of water, like a waterfall or a river or some type of flowing water playing, right? If you have a nice sound system in your apartment or your house, you can play that. You can play calming music, meditation music, the sound of water. And you can have that on in your house, in your living space, throughout the day. Or turn it on when you feel stressed. And then put, let's say you diffuse some lavender oil, or cinnamon oil, or lemon oil, right? A smell you really, really like. I really like pine. I like pine oil, so I would diffuse pine oil. I like lavender. I would diffuse lavender. Eucalyptus oil. Eucalyptus oil really opens up the lungs too, makes it a little bit easier to breathe. So if you're going to do deep breathing exercises and you're breathing in that eucalyptus or you're breathing in that spearmint oil, it's a great combination, right? And then you get into your fruit bowl, your cantaloupe or your watermelon, your grapes, these type of things. Your foods allow you to leverage your taste buds and your sense of taste to reduce stress. The essential oils to tap into your sense of smell to reduce stress. And then the music and the sound therapy, leveraging your sense of hearing to reduce stress. And then what you see, your eyes, right? So keep your living space clean, organize, do some dusting. Stop watching toxic reality TV shows where everybody hates each other and is backstabbing each other or crying or arguing and throwing stuff at each other. Or watching shows like zombie shows like Walking Dead where all your favorite characters are dying off and whatnot and getting chased around and bitten by zombies and human beings backstabbing each other and scavenging for food and carrying on. Probably shouldn't watch shows like that, especially right before you try to go to bed at night. Right? There's a lot of negative stuff going on in the news these days. So maybe you want to just step away from the news a bit. Sure, we want to be informed about what's going on in the world around us, but not to the point where it breaks us spiritually. Right? So you gotta regulate the media you consume. Right? So big shout out to y'all because y'all are watching this stream, which is inherently calming. It's informative. It's a whole vibe. It brings down the stress, or at least that's my goal, right? Now, when you take things like this, leveraging your sense of smell, taste, sight, hearing, and then you have a diet that, like, let's say, is rich in sugar and water, like fruit. Now, it is scientifically proven that sugar reduces stress. This is why you get sugar cravings. When you're feeling really stressed, you get sugar cravings. You get You get 2 cravings. Oh, well, 3. Sugar craving, salt craving, and the craving for something crunchy. So, a really good way to engage in reducing stress is, let's say, fruits, nuts, and seeds. The fruit has the abundance of water and sugar, as well as things like vitamin C and B vitamins and potassium. And this is really important because fruits, or these carbohydrate-rich foods, they help to facilitate oxygen saturation in your cells and your bloodstream. So if you're going to be doing the deep breathing, well, your diet should help to facilitate that. Your diet should be hydrating, and your diet should give you the sugar needed. I'm not talking about sugar like in this pathological way, like cakes and cookies or something like that, right? Little Debbie's or whatever, right? I am not an anti-sugar person, right? Sugar is not the problem. It's what it's packaged in. If you get a pastry that is loaded up with trans fats or saturated fat and food coloring and all of that, well, that raises your stress. It's not the sugar necessarily. It's how it's packaged. What you don't want to do is you don't want to have the sugar without the B vitamins, the vitamin C, the water, the magnesium, the potassium. You don't want to have the sugar without the micronutrients to facilitate the digestion and metabolism to be able to adequately leverage the sugar. That's the difference, right? So we have to be a bit more nuanced. So now, an interesting thing too, if, let's say you track your blood sugar, you have a blood sugar monitor, and you eat a bunch of fruit, and the fruit spikes your sugar, right? Let's say you're diabetic, and you eat a pound of grapes, and your blood sugar goes up 180, 190, 210. Like, whoa, I got a massive blood sugar spike. But if you notice, your blood sugar comes down real quick shortly afterwards. So like within like a 45-minute window, your blood sugar returns right back down to baseline. This is an acute stressor. If you wanted to improve insulin sensitivity, well, them grapes would be a great mechanism to do that. You challenge your body's insulin sensitivity. You provoke your body to be more insulin sensitive by leveraging the grapes to create that spike. And your body counteracts that spike by increasing insulin sensitivity. So what you're doing is you're using an acute stressor like the Muay Thai rolling out the shins or resistance training. It's a short-lived, momentary stressor that provokes your body to create an adaptation. And your body responds to that adaptation. Grapes are loaded with copper, vitamin K, vitamin C, folate, water, antioxidants, all types of stuff, right? Polyphenols, resveratrol, these types of things, right? So not only is the grapes create an acute stressor with the blood sugar, but it also has micronutrients that help to counteract stress. So it's a two-sided coin. Well, all coins are two-sided, but it's this double-edged thing. Sure, it can act as a stressor and raise your blood sugar, but there's a lot more to gain afterwards. Right? So as the grapes get digested and metabolized, your brain chemistry improves, your metabolism improves, your insulin sensitivity increases, your liver heals, your kidneys heal. You get better blood pressure. Your hormones start to recorrect and things like that. And every time you expose yourself to these types of foods, especially in significant quantities, 16 ounces, 20 ounces, 32 ounces, etc., your body creates these adaptations more and more and more each time. This is why consistency is so important, because you need consistency in order to fully flesh out in human adaptation. Metabolic disorders are human adaptations, but they don't happen overnight. They take like 5 or 10 years to develop. So when people are like, oh, when I was a teenager or when I was in my early 20s, I could eat whatever and I'd be fine. Yeah. But while you were eating whatever in your teenage years and your 20s, you were developing a metabolic disorder. So 5 years later, when you're 25, you start to gain some weird weight. And then another 5 years, when you're 30 years old, that's when that metabolic disorder really fully sets in. It happened over a 5 or a 10-year period. At freshman 15, chances are that freshman 15 didn't start right in freshman year. It started when you were 15 years old. Right? It started when you were 14, 12 years old. 10 even. If your parents fed you all kind of wild stuff, you were eating all types of fried this and pork that and whatnot as a child, that metabolic disorder started getting developed a lot earlier. Right? So, got some messages here. Hold on, what's that? Oh, okay. Where was I? I had to check a message right here in the Discord. I got tribe folks messaging me in the Discord, keeping me abreast of the situation. So, leveraging food and challenging your metabolism with food is one way to also reduce the stress. So I'm a big fan of increasing carbohydrate intake. And the reason why I'm a big fan of increasing carbohydrate intake is because you get an abundance of glucose from those carbs. Now, if your body needs carbs to offset the stress, your body wouldn't need to artificially provoke your body to send your blood sugar up excessively if you provide your body with the necessary amount of glucose needed. So if you wake up with your blood sugar at 180 or something like that first thing in the morning, it's because, well, you haven't really been feeding your body enough of the glucose to be able to offset the stress. So your body goes, well, there's a shortage of glucose from food, so I'm just going to dig in and metabolize and break down something else and convert that into glucose. But if you provide your body with what is needed, your body won't really have to do that. So out of the diabetics that I work with, we give them an abundance of food to eat, and what happens over time is their blood sugar levels trend down and their stress comes down. And then the weight loss starts to happen, the weight comes off, and this type of thing. Right? So they eat their way out. Fasting is an interesting thing because fasting, it'll take for you to get adjusted to it, it takes a lot longer than 20-30 minutes to create an adaptation. You front load your adaptation. So in order to get fully adjusted to fasting, you got to do it and be really consistent with your fasting strategy for 2 weeks. After 2 weeks, you get adjusted and then it's smooth sailing from there. But if you capitulate at that 2-week mark or before the 2 weeks, you don't really see the benefit from it. That's the thing. You got to fast your way through that period in order for that adaptation to kick on. Right? So stress. Now, aside from deep breathing exercises and leveraging fruits, nuts and seeds, leafy greens to reduce stress, aside from using all of our senses, right? Even touch, by the way, I forgot touch. Leveraging touch. So hug a family member who you really love. Releases oxytocin in the brain, makes you feel good. That reduces stress. So one of the things that I like to do is I rub my mom's head. and that reduces my stress. Sometimes she doesn't like it, and it's kind of agitating. And, you know, I do it anyway, selfishly, because I tell myself that she's going to miss it when I'm not around. Right? So when I come back home after a long time of not seeing her, and I visit her, I make sure I get them head rubs in. Right? Rub your mom's head. And that's one of the things I learned, because when I was a child, she would rub my head. So I learned it from her. So she can be mad at me for rubbing her head, but I learned it from her. In our family, we use head rubbing to reduce our stress. It's a way that we show that we love a person, and it's a way that we reduce our stress. Right? And if you have kids, you rub your kid's head, and you feel better when you rub your kid's head. And in your mind, you assume that when you rub your kid's head, it reduces your kid's stress too. So you just have a head rubbing, stress reducing session, right? And if you don't have kids, you probably got a cat or a dog, and you rub them, right? We call it petting. And then you got cats, they do this too. And they like to take their forehead right here and their cheeks, and they'll just rub in and they do all of that. If you had a cat, you know what I'm talking about. And they really rub their forehead and their cheeks in it. And we think it's so cute, and it reduces our stress, and we love it, right? And then we give them the little cheek scratches and everything, and underneath the chin, and we pet the cat and everything, and then we feel good petting our cat. And they start purring and all of that type of stuff. And you and your cat just relieving stress. Right? So leveraging sense of touch. So what you see, what you hear, what you smell, what you taste, and then what you touch. All of this matters to reduce stress. It's a big deal, all of this, right? So if you're under a lot of stress, just be mindful that you have all of these different vehicles that you can use to offset your stress in real time. It matters, every bit of it. Right? It's a lot easier to have a cat or a dog rather than a child. So I'd probably say it's a good idea to invest in getting a cat or a dog or something like that. Right? Or you can have I don't know if this works, but maybe a pillow or something that feels really nice. Or some bed sheets that feel really good, high quality bed sheets. So it feels really good to lie in bed. Right? Something that feels good. All of these little things to offset stress. And then we can use acute stress to offset chronic stress, because acute stress creates human adaptations in us that better equips us to handle stress. And then we practice self-care, massage, that's a big one. Saunas, that's a big one. Cold plunges, that's another big one. Yoga, meditation, right? All of these things are things that you should incorporate into your life. Take time for yourself. It's not just about, I got to eat some stale diet that's super strict and, cut calories and do hours of cardio and just grind yourself down. That's not going to get you the physique and the body and the health that you want, because it's not sustainable for long enough to get you there. It'll burn you out. The solution to stress is not more work and less self-care. That's not the solution to stress. It's actually a horrible solution to stress. It just makes it worse. You'll cardio yourself into a worse body. You'll cardio yourself into a more stressed body. Right? If you're really stressed, you know what the best form of cardio is for you? Walking. Walking. Just go for a walk. Preferably outside and get some sunlight. Let's go for a walk. Walk a few miles. Right? Now, there are also certain supplements and things that you can add to reduce stress as well. Magnesium. I'm always talking about magnesium. Magnesium reduces stress pretty immediately, quite honestly. So having an abundance of magnesium in your diet will do all kinds of things. Regulate cholesterol, blood pressure, blood sugar, helps to correct your hormones, sleep quality, all that kind of stuff. It's phenomenal, right? So my two go-to forms of magnesium as far as supplementation is magnesium glycinate. You do 2 grams of magnesium glycinate before bed at night. And you can compound that with zinc, like zinc picolinate. 30 milligrams to 60 milligrams of zinc picolinate paired with the magnesium at night before you go to bed. Makes for phenomenal sleep. Then there's magnesium malate. So like, let's say for example, I'm making a protein smoothie. You do a protein smoothie where inside that protein smoothie, you do, like I like to use pea protein isolate. So you do pea protein isolate, you do cinnamon, you can do hemp seeds, you can do monk fruit or coconut sugar, cinnamon, a couple pinches of sea salt, 5 grams of creatine monohydrate, and 2 to 3 grams, like 2 grams of magnesium malate. And you can even put cacao powder in there as well for a little bit of a chocolatey flavor. And you can add 2 Brazil nuts for the extra selenium, because selenium is also really big for stress reduction and hormonal balance. Within that smoothie, you get all of the antioxidants of cinnamon, you get the antioxidants of cacao, you get the antioxidants of the hemp seeds, you get the omega-3 of the hemp seeds, you get the magnesium and the manganese of the hemp seeds, you get the zinc and the iron from the hemp seeds, you get the selenium from the Brazil nuts, you get the iron from the Brazil nuts, the copper from the Brazil nuts, you get the protein from the pea protein isolate, and all of those amino acids and whatnot are also very important for offsetting stress. You get creatine monohydrate that creates an anabolic environment inside the muscle tissue, which helps for recovery of the muscle tissue and hydrates the muscle tissue, which also offsets stress and reduces inflammation. And then the magnesium malate, which also, and interestingly enough, magnesium malate also helps to reduce arthritis or joint pain, right? That malic acid, very important for reducing joint pain, combined with magnesium as well. Magnesium is very good for relieving joint pain. And all of that is good for blood pressure, blood sugar, joint pain, all types of stuff. It's a big deal, right? And you can do that as like a post-workout smoothie every day. And if you really want to step your game up with it, you can also put like let's say 8 ounces of blueberries in there, right? You can put 12 to 16 ounces of mango in there. You can put like 2 bananas in there, right? So you can load it up with the fruit too in there. And the extra glucose from the fruits and the extra fiber from the fruits is also good for offsetting stress. It's also phenomenal for your gut health. So getting a little bit granular, getting into more of the nutritional aspect. I have become a very big fan of Brazil nuts. Brazil nuts are very important for offsetting stress. Selenium is phenomenal for this. It is phenomenal for testosterone production, progesterone. It is phenomenal for gut health, thyroid function. And so if you have, let's say, a hypothyroid, getting that extra selenium in your diet would really help. If you have a thyroid problem specifically, right? Selenium is very important for thyroid function. And, for people who struggle to lose weight because they have a thyroid issue, getting that extra selenium in the diet goes a long way. Right? So just 2 Brazil nuts. Right? Big deal. One meal that I've become a very big fan of is you do 12 ounces of plant-based milk, a quarter cup of hemp seeds, a quarter cup of flax seeds or flaxseed meal, 4 Brazil nuts, coconut sugar or monk fruit sugar, sea salt, Ceylon cinnamon, the pea protein, powdered peanuts to add that nice peanut flavor, and creatine monohydrate, and then cacao powder. And then to blend that up and you puree it in the blender, you get like a nice hemp pudding or a hemp flax chocolate pudding. So good. It's one of my favorite breakfasts. And then you can add sunflower seed kernels, dry roasted sunflower seed kernels, and sliced banana. That is the anti-stress breakfast right there. Phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. That is the omega-3 bowl of choice, the omega-3 essential fatty acid bowl loaded with magnesium. That's an amazing source of magnesium, selenium, zinc, copper, iron, omega-3, omega-6, protein, the works. All right, so that's another one definitely put in there. Very easy to make. Put it in your favorite glass jar, store it in the fridge overnight, and eat it the next day. Right? Another thing I'm a very big fan of is adding sea salt to smoothies. Just a little bit, just like a pinch or two. Because salt reduces stress as well. Salt brings down cortisol. Sugar brings down cortisol. So if you have excessively elevated cortisol, adding that salt, having more salt in your diet, and the coconut sugar, the reason why I say coconut sugar or monk fruit sugar or things like that is because those things have a low impact on your blood sugar. Right? They're very low on the glycemic index. Right? So if you don't want, if you want to do whatever you can to avoid excessive blood sugar spikes, that's a good way to do it. Right? Is to use that as a sweetener. Right? And I'm a fan of the sweeteners because you want to be able to enjoy what you're eating. I got a massive sweet tooth. I'm not gonna do this. Oh, I gotta not satiate my sweet tooth. Oh, I'm gonna satiate my sweet tooth. Because that is one of the primary mechanisms that I use to reduce my stress. It's good for my mental health, my emotional health, my physical health, and my gut health. Right? So I'm such a big fan of eating so much fruit at a time. Right? The last thing I'm going to touch on here, and there's a lot more that we could talk about as far as stress is concerned, but I think that would be more in the mindset route. Stretching or mobility exercises. We hold a lot of stress, not just in our mind, but in our bodies. Right? If you're a person who's very stressed, a lot of that stress that you're feeling all the time is trapped inside your body, and it's making you tight. It's tightening up your ankles, your Achilles tendon. It's tightening up your hip flexors. It's tightened up your gastrocnemius and your hamstring behind the knees, right? So you're tight behind your knees, your hamstrings are tight, your ankles are tight, your gastrocnemius, right? Your calf muscles are tight. You got tightness up in here, right in the pec minor. This is tight, and it's pulling in. It's bringing the shoulders in like this. This is tight. The trapezius is tight, so you got the shoulders raised. That's tight. You got tightness and whatnot in the neck and behind the ears. You got, if you go like this, and you actually massage your ears, like, and you pull on your ears a little bit, not too hard, just a little bit. You'll feel all this tension in your ears. And you go like that. Oh man, you got all that tension in your ears, tension in your face. Your face like this, that constipation face, right? Just tightness in the abdomen, tightness in the back, tightness in the lower back, tightness in the piriformis, just tight. Just all of this, joints popping and crackling and whatnot, elbows cracking and just tight. Everything is just pulled towards the midline, just caged up, tight. Fingers all tight and every hands tight, everything tight. Right? This is why, like, we call people, oh, you're uptight. Or you're a tight ass. Oh, she's such a tight ass. Oh, you're so uptight. Right? We know about, like, this pathological tightness. Right? Tight. Restricted, caged up, straight checked, tight, right? Scientifically, you have muscle, and then you have like a sleeve over the muscle. It's called fascia, right? Well, with people who are very posh, they say fascia, right? And this fascia is like a it's a sleeve. It's this fleshy sleeve. It's like saran wrap over a pack of meat. Right? You see in the meat aisle, and you see the saran wrap over the meat. Now when you're tight, you got all kind of bubbles and crinkles and whatnot. So the wrap ain't smooth. It's got all these folds and crinkliness up in it and whatnot. Right? It's all vacuum sealed and sucked up and everything like that. It's tight. When your fascia is like that, your muscles can't lengthen. And so your nervous system gets all jammed up, right? Because your nerves are like this. Right? Your nerves is just all just sucked up and dehydrated and dried and constipated. Right? Congested nerves. And the muscle tissue can't really contract because it never gets to expand and open up. Right? So then you get these blood flow choke points, and that raises your blood pressure. Right? So you get a lack of blood flow to the knees, lack of blood flows to your feet, your ankles, lack of blood flow to your lower back. Your hips hurt because there's a lack of blood flow to your butt cheeks. Right? So you start to get some agitation in your hips. Right? You get headaches, lack of blood flow going to the brain. You're yawning all the time. You get brain fog because of that fascia. You got to open up. Right? So, and you can test this at home, right? So you put your arms out to your side like this. If you put your arms out to your side like this may even feel real tight. You may feel a stretch going from your middle finger and down your arm all the way through here, right into the pec. So if you reach out to the side like this, and you fully open up your arms. Matter of fact, put a 1 in the chat if you feel that tightness when you reach out like this. Just right out to your side, you open up your hands, and you fully extend your fingers. Put a 1 in the chat if you feel that tightness coming from the middle finger and the ring finger. Put a 1 in the chat if you feel that tightness. All right, I want to know if y'all feel this. I'm gonna get y'all involved. We'll see the 1s pop up. Y'all a bunch of tight asses in here. Tight in the ass. Tight. Cranky. Right? So we got some. I only see 2 1s in here. We gotta see more 1s than that. Come on now. Put your arms out. Come on. Put your arms out. That's stage 1. That's step 1. Just the arms out to the side. Alright. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to take your thumbs, right? And then rotate your thumbs outward. Rotate your thumbs outward behind you. So point your thumbs behind you with your hands open. And then your palms should be pointed up to the ceiling. Right? I want you to put a 2 in the chat if that feels difficult. Right? Just turn them palms up and reach out. Big chest. So big chest, sit up. Right? And take your palms and point your palms up to the ceiling and point your thumbs back behind you as you open up. Does that feel difficult? Does that feel uncomfortable at the shoulder joint? Put a 2 in the chat if it feels uncomfortable at the shoulder joint. All right, so we see a 2. We see a 2 in here. We see some 2s. Hold on one second. How many people in here watching me right now? We got 50 people in here. All right, I want all of y'all to be doing this. And then put them 1s and 2s in the chat. I want to see 1s and 2s, because I know it's not just me. And if you're not gonna put your arms out and all of that, at least hit the like button, because y'all know this is deep. We're getting deep, so hit the like button. Like the stream if you like the stream. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, we see some 2s. Yeah, look at the 2s. You see the 2s popping in here now. The terrible 2s. Oh, I should stop driving. Yeah, don't do that. Don't be on the road driving and be, you know. I don't want to be doing that. Somebody's behind you in traffic and you see the thumb out pointing behind the driver behind you. They're like, their lights not working? I'm a strength athlete with shoulder issues lingering. There we go. So that feels tight, right? So we point like this here. I'm doing this as an illustration for a point so you can feel what I'm saying. So now basically, if you turn your palms up and then you reach out back behind you, that's going to feel crazy, right? So you'll feel all throughout the forearm, the bicep tendon, all the way in the shoulder. That'll feel uncomfortable because you're tight. Right? It'll probably feel really comfortable though if you take your thumbs and point your thumbs down. So take your thumbs and point your thumbs down. And then when you point your thumbs down, raise your arms out to the side and point your thumbs all the way down. And tell me, put a 3 in the chat if your traps feel insanely tight when you do that. Do you feel stress in your traps and your neck when you do that? So if you point the thumbs down and you feel a lot of tightness in your neck and in your traps when you do that, put a 3 in the chat if you feel that. "40 days of coconut." You'd probably need more than coconut. All right, so we got a 3. We got our first 3 in the chat. I know it's got to be more of y'all that feel that. Right, will your neck feel real short? A lot of y'all got a short neck from all this stress. The stress shortens your neck. You lose inches on your neck. When people got a long neck, you know they live in a stress-free life. You know they don't got no problems. You ever see people like here and be all up right here, like a real long, slender neck? They got no problems. They got no gut health issues. They got no stress. They got no nothing. All right. 3, the left side is sore. Yeah, there we go. So, in the hands, the tightness in the hands and the neck, those are big indicators of stress. And this tight pec minor right up here, pulling the shoulders forward. And that tightness over here right in that shoulder joints. And then when you go and you externally rotate at the shoulder, that feels really uncomfortable. And then when you internally rotate at the shoulders, the neck gets super activated. Stress. Right? So one thing that's very good to do is focus on, you can reach out here and then create like a Y. Look at my sweaty armpits. And then reach back like this here and open up, right? And then come back down and then focus on dropping the shoulders, right? Focus on dropping the shoulders. Your shoulders up like this. Focus on depressing your shoulders, pulling your shoulders down. I want you to actively focus on depressing your shoulders. And if you do it, what you'll feel is you'll feel this muscle right underneath here called the lats. So your latissimus dorsi, which is this muscle right underneath the armpits, and it runs all the way down into your hip, and then your lower trapezius, which is the bottom of the trapezius diamond in your scapula. You'll feel those activate. Now, those muscles are extremely important. All right, so having a strong back, actually training and developing strong back muscles will help a lot with your neck. And then opening up the hips. I want to show y'all some exercises to relieve some stress. Now, mobility exercises. Let me set this up here. Hold on. Let's set something up here. Because I want to show y'all something. Where's it at? I'm going to show y'all something. Let me set this up right quick. Hold on. Is this? Yeah, I'm going to go pull up a media source here. I want to show y'all some mobility exercises. All right. I'm going to show y'all one of my favorite mobility exercises that I like to do. It's one of my favorite ones. Going on the fly here. Oh, woo, 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 woo. For all of y'all tight asses, y'all gonna love this. You might not like it while you're doing it, but you're gonna like how you feel after you do it. All right, I'll tell you that much. Let me just find it here. Hold on. Where's it at? Some of y'all who are following my training program too, y'all gonna know. They go, oh, he got me doing that. I hate his ass. He had me doing this exercise. Talk about I'm gonna like it. I hate it. No, I'm just playing. All right. I'm just working out some technical stuff right here, right quick. Is it gonna play? It's not gonna play. All right, so let me see if I can do window capture and pull it up since that's not working. It's important. I gotta show y'all this too. I'm like, I really gotta show y'all this because I want y'all to come away from this with all kind of stuff that you can use to reduce your stress. And I'm gonna deliver tonight. Hold on. I gotta make sure when I open this, I gotta turn the sound down. Hold on. Just give me a second here. Let me lower this sound on this here. And I'm gonna share my window. Let me just get up the right window. Hold on. Oh, I'm not able to do that either. This thing fighting me today. All right. So it's not going to let me do it. And that's worked before. That's disappointing. All right. So I'm going to have to do another mobility stream at some other point in time because I'm getting fought right now. Oh, hold on one second. Wait a minute. I think it might work. Hold on. Nope, it's not playing. It's just a blank screen. It's not working. Oh man, that's unfortunate. All right, I'm gonna have to do a mobility exercise video stream. I guess I'm gonna have to save that for another time. because unfortunately I need to be a better tech expert. So I need to be better prepared. That's all good. All right, folks. Well, you know what? That was the last thing. If y'all want to be a little bit more patient with me, I can pull it up in another way. If y'all really want to rock with me, if y'all really want to see these exercises, I can do it. If y'all want to be patient with me, if y'all really, matter of fact, put a W in the chat if you really want to see these exercises. If you rather me skip it, just do it on another stream. We could do that too, because I know we're running kind of long here. So y'all let me know. I'll let y'all put a W in the chat if y'all want me to pull it up. If y'all really want to see it, what I'm talking about here. Yeah, like, nah, you piqued my curiosity. I want to see what you're talking about. And we can go through a few of them. Oh, we see the W's. All right. So I'm going to deliver. The folks have spoken. All right, so let's go to... Let me pull it up here then. All right. So that's kind of small. Let me see if I can blow that up a little bit. But this is, can y'all see my screen? Y'all see this this exercise here? Is that big enough or it's too small? Y'all want me to zoom in a little bit? So this right here, let me tell you something. You get out on the beach, or you get out. Let me see here. Let me see if I can open it up a little bit. Look, we're getting scuffed here on the stream tonight. Getting a little scuffed here on the stream tonight. Let me see. I'm gonna play it again. I'm gonna play it one more time. But I can't, I don't know if I can make it bigger. Let me see if I can make it bigger here. Ah, there we go. All right, now is that big enough? I think that should be big enough there. So this right here is the deep lizard lunge to inchworm. So this is how you open up your hips. Now remember I was telling y'all about reaching out to the side and palms up and all that? This right here, this is one of the best exercises that you can do right when you get out of bed. If you want immediate energy as soon as you get out of bed, this right here. And take your time with it, and you move through the range of motion that your body permits you to move through. And you do this about 6 to 8 times, alternating, inching those toes up and whatnot. You stretch out your hamstrings, your adductors, your piriformis, your glute muscles, and everything like that. Right? That right there is one of the best exercises that you can do for your mobility right there. Right? Phenomenal stretch. I got others too, because I got a whole bunch of exercises like this. Because there may be one where you got a lot of flexing of the back, but you may want to open up at your back, right? You may want to open up at the hip flexors a little bit more. So there's another one. Y'all want me to show y'all another one? Y'all want a second one to go along with that one? If y'all want to see a second one that y'all can pair up with that one, let me know. So we could do that too. All right. Let's show y'all another one. We're gonna pull up another one here. All right. So we got the crab reach. This right here Now you open up the shoulder joint, the lats, the hips, flex the glutes, and all that. Really open up here. Look, boom. It's a phenomenal stretch right there. All mobility exercises. Really pushing those hips up to the sky. Reaching over the head, stretching out those lats. This is an amazing morning routine to get the stress out of your body, all this stress and whatnot. All that stress that's trapped inside your body. This is an outlet to remove, to clear all that stress out of your body. To open up at the chest, right? Relax the shoulders, depress the shoulders, open up at the chest, pick the chest up. Reach, open up the lats, stretch that lat out there, stretch out the triceps, everything all up in here. Stretch the hip flexors, right? Open up the hips, fire the glutes, just open up. If you look at those exercises, they're all about rotating at the torso, opening up, big chest, really opening up, spreading all this, opening up, fingers stretched out wide and everything like that, right? So imagine you wake up first thing in the morning, you do exercises like that. You get your massage therapy, right? Now you can either get like a massage gun, you can get like a golf ball and roll out the bottom of your feet. So you take your shoes off, you take your socks off, you put a golf ball on the floor and you roll out the bottom of your feet. That's another good one. Wiggle your toes, roll out the arches of your feet, roll out the whole bottom of your feet, rotate your ankles and everything like that. And you do those mobility exercises. The massage combined with the mobility exercises is a great way to release the tension and the tightness, the stress out of your body. And doing that allows you to basically open up at the thoracic spine, drop the shoulders, relax the shoulders, lengthen the neck, right? Unlock your shoulders, unlock your hips, right? And this is a way to get out of your head and get into your body and then free your body. So it's this transition. Boom, right? So out of the head into the body and then release. Deep breathing, mobility, massage. Things sound good, smell good, taste good. All of these little things to leverage. And they piggyback on the primal senses of the body to be able to reduce stress in real time. And you can implement some or all of these things in your life. And doing that very consistently, you'll notice your body will start to change. All right. Before I jump, because it's getting close to my bedtime, but before I go, what kind of questions do y'all got for me? I'm going to answer a few questions. Let me scroll up a little bit here. My neck is naturally long as hell. But I still felt that in my traps. Well, look, you're doing a lot better than the rest of us, all right? By the way, do I have a short neck or do I have I don't know. What do y'all think? Do I have does my neck look short or long or what? I don't know what my neck is. I don't know how to categorize my neck. I'm kind of interested to know what y'all think about my neck length. I'm already 5 lovely, almost into my skin day. Oh, 6th day of my coconut fast. That's interesting. Coconut water or coconut milk or just the whole cut. Oh, everything in the coconut. Just all coconut everything. Daily mobility helped me tremendously with that. True. That's what I'm talking about. We got somebody experienced in here. All right, well, we don't got any further questions. I think we can wrap. Folks, before you head out, definitely hit the like button. Like the stream if you like the stream. I do this every Monday night. Um, I'm out of slots for the personalized coaching, but the 12-week mentorship is open, and you can still book calls with me. There's limited availability to book calls, so if you're going to do it, definitely jump on that because folks are not playing when it comes to booking these calls. All right, so the link to the 12-week mentorship is in the link in the description of this video, and to book a call with me is a link to that as well. All right. So, what herbal tea brands do you recommend? Herbal tea brands do I recommend? Traditional medicinals is probably like my number one. Traditional medicinals. But for me personally, I would take the actual raw dry oat and put that in, the raw dry herb, and I would put that in my tea. Right, so I would boil that and put that in my tea. So yeah, I'm real bare bones with the herbs. Coconut everything so far, mainly the water. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know a whole lot about a coconut fast. So there's not a whole lot I can say about it. I'd have to do some more research into that. That I'm not familiar with. Can I use coconut pills on my fat? Coconut pills? I don't know about coconut pills. I'm not familiar with that. Yeah, I couldn't say one way or the other. Oh yeah, in the beginning, somebody asked me about parasite cleanse. One of the best things that I know to kill parasites is capsaicin. So taking like cayenne pepper with like, you know, turmeric, ginger, things like that in a tea or a capsule kills parasites, right? Cayenne pepper kills parasites. Ginger kills parasites. I believe black pepper, if I'm not mistaken. What else? There's another one. I'm blanking on the name. Achiote. And garlic. So those kill parasites as well. Oh, let's see here. Love the information. Thank you, Judy. Appreciate you tuning in. When you referred to fasting earlier, were you talking about intermittent fasting or 24-hour fasting? I was mainly talking about 24-hour fasting. Yeah, any fast is like over 24 hours. Yo, family. I'm here 4:44 a.m. Look at that. Bright and early on your side of the world. But I'm rewinding to start from the beginning. Well, you know, welcome to the stream. Good to see you in here. Not wormwood. I don't know a whole lot about wormwood, actually. So I don't have strong feelings on it. I just, you know, I would have to do more research on things like that if I don't know a whole lot about something in particular. I won't really speak much on it. I don't like speaking on things that I'm not very well versed in. Bitter herbs. Yeah, bitter herbs, generally speaking, are very good for gut health and whatnot. And I believe, yeah, the bitter herbs helps to flush out parasites as well. Fast of mono coconut, 40 days. Okay, interesting. Are peas a great source of protein? Absolutely. Absolutely. Peas, lentils, really any kind of legumes for sure. I mean, coconut oil supplement pills. 1 gram. Yeah, I think if you the oil may break your fast. Maybe. Depends on the dosage, so I can't really say for sure. Generally speaking, like anything, I think anything over... Anything with a caloric value over like 15... Either 15, 20, or 50 calories would break your fast, something like that. Coconut has a lot of potassium. Very true. Very true. All right, y'all. Thank you for rocking with me tonight on the stream. Like, share, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Links to book a call me is in the description of this video, and the 12-week mentorship is live. So for tribe members, every Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, I talk with the folks in the tribe. We do a live educational seminar over there. We do live meal planning. We talk about training, muscle building, mobility, troubleshooting. We do all types of stuff. You get in the voice chat. So rather than typing things into the comments, you could just get on the mic and talk, right? You get to enter into the live seminars. You talk with me, talk with other members, get answers to your questions and all of that. So those are a big deal. You get access to all of my courses and guides, as well as the ability to direct message me in the Discord, take part in the tribe voice chat and all that. So links to all of that is in the description, and I will see y'all next Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern.